Welcome to Eclectic Images and Crafting with Kathy. In this video I'm going to be working with the shimmer dust powders from the Australian company Colour Blast and making a couple of gorgeous cards. There's wonderful techniques you can do with these powders. They're just pigment powders with a bit of shimmer. So the amount of colour and pigment you get from them is just amazing. You can do full backgrounds, you can do just accent points, you can paint with them, just wonderful. So to start off with, I've actually pre-embossed a card ready to go. So what I'm using on this one is our Mandala Deco stamp. Now you can't see it much there because I've stamped it with the Versamark ink and then embossed it in a white powder. Now this powder will act as a resist once we put the colours on. So the colours come in these lovely little pots, and you can actually use them directly from the pot just by putting them on the end of a spatula or a stick and shaking them on. But I actually find it's a little bit more controllable if I transfer them to a small pot like this, and I can put just a little pin through the top of it. That just gives me a very small opening by which I can shake on a little bit of colour. You don't need a lot at all. You'll see it's going to be amazing once we add the water to it. Now I'm going to use the colour, that was Lollipop. Now I'm going to use a little bit of Passion. And we'll add some Duke in there as well, which is a great blue. And then one of my favourites, Peacock, which is a lovely teal. Now with the set that we're promoting tonight, which is a special offer on the all 13 colours, plus a pack of cotton blend cardstock, which is what I usually work on whenever I'm doing watercolouring, plus also a set of labels. So if you get the small containers like this, you can put your own little labels on with all the colours already. Sorry, with the name of the colour on. You've got to put the colours on yourself. Okay, so let's go back to our card. So I've sprinkled that little bit of colour on. I'm then going to take my water mister bottle and spritz the back of the card slightly. This helps to stop it curling up too much. Then we lay it down and spritz the top. This is where the magic starts to happen. You can see those colours just exploding. Now you can leave it looking quite bitty like that, or you can keep adding more water and the colours will mush in together more. Now if we're wanting to create more of a all over background technique, take something like a pouncing brush, dip it into a little bit of water. I'm just taking off a bit of excess on some paper towel, and then we can just dab on the card and just help to spread those colours out a little bit. The more colour you have around the embossed areas, the more that image is going to pop. So I'm just cleaning my brush a little bit between some of the colours. Now I could take this all the way out to the edges of the card, or I can let it just be a little bit dotty where it's actually the colours splashed out itself, and just fill the colour in the middle like this. Clean my brush again, so I don't want to put a purple and into the pink area and spoil that colour that we've got happening there. But you'll see how the colours blend in together, and we can just move them around with the brush. Okay, up here, just add a little bit more water up there. See if we can pick out that design a whole lot more. Just taking a bit of water off the brush so I can just pounce the colour out without actually smearing it all together. Okay. Now I'm actually going to leave that one like that just to dry. As I said, we can do it just over the design area of the card, or we could take it out over the whole card and make a whole background piece. So in this one the background piece was actually done and then this pattern was stamped over the top, whereas this one I've done the embossing first, so the colour actually pulls around some of those embossed areas. So let's just pop that one to one side to dry for a while and grab our second card. So our second card, I've used the Sun Mandala stamp, and I've actually embossed it with the Japanese Lacquer embossing powder. Still use the same Versamark ink, but a deeper colour in the embossing powder. And this is we're going to use similar colours to this one, the lollipop and the sunflower. Some nice sunshiny colours. So let's pop on some of our sunflower. And some of our lollipop. Always amazed by how little you actually put on for the amount of effect that you get. Okay, and once again I'm going to spritz the back of the card so we don't curl too much, and then I'm going to spritz the front and watch our colours start to move. Now this time I'm going to spritz a little bit more water on, and I'm then going to blow it. Now you could do this with an air blowing tool or an airbrush, or you can use a straw. I'm going to move the card around. You can also pick your card up and let the inks run. But I'm actually, with this one, going to tissue off. This will speed up the drying a bit, but I'm going to actually make that background a little bit softer. So laying over some paper towel, we're going to actually take some of that colour off, which dries our card a lot quicker and means I can actually now paint some bits in where I want some stronger colour. Sorry, leave it that way so you can see which way the design goes. Okay, so another way that you can use the shimmer dust is putting them onto a palette. And here I've popped my colours onto one of the Tim Holtz palettes. So I'm just going to open the lid up there. Now you only add a tiny amount of colour and then just drop a couple of drops of water in, and that will actually activate the colour and you can paint with it. Once it dries, you can then just close the lid and carry that around with you. One bit of advice though, don't spritz it with your water spray, because that'll cause colours to jump from one palette into another, and you can see how strong they are. They would contaminate each other quite easily. Okay, so I'm going to pick up some of the sunflower colour with my water brush and add that richer colour into some of the areas. Where there's bits of pink, it's going to blend with it. Now, where's our lollipop? Let's add some lollipop in there as well. So I'm looking at where there is colours that have naturally blended with the background that I really like and I don't want to change, and then looking for areas where it would be really good to add some deeper colour to accent some parts of the card. Clean your brush off. So I'm just adding a little bit of water there, just letting that some of the colours bleed in, but without painting it quite as strong as I did on that other section. It's one of these sort of cards where you can, the mandala type designs lend themselves to all sorts of colouring techniques, and you can do a lot of detailed colouring and blending, or you can do just a very quick wash over them, and either way it's going to look wonderfully dramatic. They also really suit colouring with coloured pencils. Now let's just pick out some other small areas that we want to add a bit of extra colour to. I do find them very easy to paint with. Just going to turn my card a little bit so I can just run the brush up into that colour. Let it bleed out into whatever other colours are in those sections. Okay. Now I'm really loving some of that soft colour we've got happening there, so I'm not going to touch that, but I might add just a little bit more of the sunflower around the outside of there. Except it looks like I've actually contaminated my sunflower a little bit there. I'll just see if I've got some cleaner. Oh, that's a nice spot there. After a little while, you'll find with your palette that you do get a little bit of colour transferring from one section to another. So every now and again, you do need to give your palette a rinse out. And I'm actually just going to grab a little bit of sunflower and put a little bit of fresh stuff in there. Just so I can add some, that's it, that's the colour I want. Okay, so I'm just going to go around and add a little bit into some of these areas. Check that I've got them all. Okay. So it's one of those sort of things you can play with it as much as you like. You can do as much blending or as little depending on what you feel like doing. Here's some of the bits that I'm picking up are just the actual shimmer dust itself that was already there, and by adding the water to it, it's just bringing it out a little bit more. I'm afraid it's one of those things where you can actually get quite carried away and just keep wanting to play. Okay, how pretty is that? So now I would just trim that down a bit, or I could actually smudge some ink around the edge with a brush, mount it up, and that would look beautiful. I'm just going to pop a little bit of a darker background behind it just so you get the idea of how much those colours really stand out. How gorgeous is that? And let's have a little quick look at the first one that we did, which is still drying, but having a look at how that would look mounted up as well. They're just absolutely stunning. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, now what we're offering for the Great Australian Craft Show is a full set of the 13 colours of the shimmer dust, plus a 10 pack of A4 sheets of the cotton blend cardstock. Now the normal price for this, just going to take a bit of a peek, the normal recommended price for this would be $22.50, sorry, the normal recommended price for this is $108, but we're doing it for the Great Australian Craft Show, our special price is $98. So it's saving you $10 on what we would normally sell the products for. Plus free postage, plus you get the extra little set of labels as well for your containers. So, hope to see you around again for the Great Australian Craft Show. Thank you for watching.